Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott wave update for Bitcoin. I'm going to get into the 15-minute and the 1-hour charts, but just wanted to recap on the daily where I have us, and currently have us working on a wave 2 of wave 5. Now off the significant low, we had a wave 1 and 2, 3, 4, working on that 5th. Important things to note. Our third wave did not reach the 1.618 extension, so it is not extended, which opens the option in the future that once we get this 5th wave in the 5th, this can become a 1-2 within the 5th. That's how we can get those very high price targets. Now, other things to note, we came between the 236 and the 382 for our 4th wave, right on the bottom end of that pitchfork. So everything looks good for the bulls. I'm also going to show you a alternative where we need to make some lower lows here before we attempt the upside. So just need to be aware of those things. So I'm going to go down to the 4-hour and show you that. So I am bullish, just to be clear, but we have to be aware of both options, and how that would work out is as a 333 or an ABC. So first of all, off our wave 3 high, we'd have a B, C as a zigzag, triangle B, 3-wave move to the upside as an A wave, complex B wave, and 5 waves up for our C. This makes a flat. So we would be looking for another 3-wave move, similar to this one, possibly a zigzag, down to the 1-to-1 extension, which is on log 53,700. On linear, 52,855. So as you can see, even though we have 5 waves up, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can't come down for a lower low. Just hit this top end support and then we start. Now, I don't think that's happening just because of where we found support right between the 236 and the 382 and the pitchfork. Everything lines up nicely. Just wanted to make that aware to you, just to let you know it is possible. Okay, we're going to go down to the smaller time frame, the 1 hour. Now this area was very difficult, just the last move. I did suggest putting your stop past the 1.618 extension, and I'll show you how that worked out. But first of all, off our low of wave 4, we had a wave 1, 2, second 1, 2, third 1, 2. So quite nested. No surprise, we got an extension in the third wave in blue. So our third wave in green came just past the 1.618 extension, got our 4th, and our 5th wave came to the 2.618 extension of our first 1-2. After that, we were looking for a 4th wave between the 236 and the 382, hold above the 50. You can see we came right between the 236 and the 382, came up for our 5th wave. Now, things of note, if you're trying to find where wave 4 is, you can put a pitchfork at the beginning of wave 1 off of wave 2 and put that on modified. And when we touch, that's where you expect the pivot to come, as you can see. So we can get rid of this pitchfork for now. And this was the area that was a little bit difficult, this last push to the upside. So as you can see, our wave 1 for our 5th wave, the length of our wave 1 gets projected off the wave 4, and that was our 1-to-1 right there at 69,375.83, which came to a tick, and we had a completed count. So I was expecting this just to fall off a cliff. Obviously we got one more push up, a little bit of a fake out. We finally dropped. So one issue I'm having, I'll show you where it happened on another coin, is this move down is 3. This move up is 3. So I'm kind of torn between 2 counts. I'll show you where this happened before, where we made a high. This was on Chainlink. This was a high of a wave 1. On the 1 hour as well to complete a larger count, but I could only get 3 waves off the high So what ended up working out was this becomes a flat, then we get our X wave, another ABC. So it's a complex correction. So you can see when you can only get 3 up off the high, it doesn't mean it's bullish. It just means that can't be the high. As you can see, it was actually pivoted 1 back, and that was actually where wave 1 equaled wave 5. Similar to Bitcoin, where wave 1 equals wave 5. So a little bit torn between 2 counts. I'll show you those down on the 15-minute. So this is how I can count the 5th wave topped at the higher area at basically 70K. And that would be, you can see on my micro. I just don't like it because it involves a pretty complex correction. That would be our 1, 2 with a flat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is our 3rd wave. It's valid, it's just very ugly because this involves like a flat X and like a triangle for like a W, X, Y, a flat and a triangle, and then we get our 5th. So you can see I don't really like that, but it counts better for our high right here. Now this does count as the move because the only way that would work is as labeled, and this becomes a triangle for our 4th. And then we get our 5 wave move up to the upside, as you can see. So it does count both ways. I just don't like the length of the 4th, but it is all valid. So for all purposes of labeling, I'm going to leave it as I have labeled, but I will show you one alternative here that I'm keeping an eye on. So what that opens up to the fact of is if we can count our wave 5 over here, it opens us up similar to Chainlink, as you can see. It just changes what we're expecting for our correction. You can see it made a expanded flat, and then an X wave, and then we came down. So it wouldn't surprise me if this is actually our high. We make an expanded flat for a W wave. We make an X wave. It can be a 3-wave move. It can be a lot of different things. But we make an X wave. And then we make another 3-wave move. So we get a WXY. And our high is actually here. To complete our larger 1, 2 for our 3rd of the 5th coming up. So that's what I'm keeping an eye on. It just popped in my head because of Chainlink. It was a very similar structure. And you can see the guidelines are kind of all off for the 5th to be over here. So just keep that in mind for the shape of the correction. 3, 3, 3. Right. Now invalidation for the short will be at 71,155. That's where this can't be a expanded flat anymore. We can come up, come back, we can do a lot of different things. But once we come above this, this can't be a B wave. So I'm not going to get into what that would mean if we come above that. Just know that that's where your hard stops need to be, and ideally just at this previous high. Not financial advice, just what I would do. Okay, so back to the hourly. So just waiting for this trend line to break, the 2-4 trend line, extend from the 2 off the 4, to indicate to me that this is a completed wave. All the counts work either at this high or this high, so I do expect this to drop through this trend line, and then I can start labeling the way I'd like. So again, if the top is here, this is making a W wave. So I'm going to be tracking this, see if we come underneath the channel, retest the channel, then come down for another 3 like this. But it's going to look like a very complicated structure, right? It can even look like we have 5 off this high because this is actually a 3-wave move with the high back one peak, right? So it can look, you know, like a diagonal. So it's going to be a little bit complicating following along this structure if that's the case. But just being aware of it is half the battle. Okay, but we'll be counting both ways. Right now, just counting this as an A wave, just our standard correction we're looking for, but I'm aware of both. And we'll see where we get our pivot for our B wave. Usually it's either the 236 or the 382. At that point, we can take our fib pull, whenever that is, look between 382 and 618. It's where I usually look for a pivot, look for that B wave, and look for a C wave down before our next long. Now, as per time, I expect this to eat up a bit of time. So I took our fib time from the beginning of wave 1 off of this wave 5. Now it can be pulled back if the high is back here once again, but I'd like to see at least a 30% extension in time for this correction to complete. So we'll see how long that takes. Standard guidelines is 618 to the 1-to-1. So we're talking within the first 2 weeks of August. Pretty much the soonest I'd want to see is the first week of August, but we will get some sideways chop. So when you're coming up with your trading plan, know that we're going to get some sideways chop. So that's why your stop needs to be up here, or if you see a nice setup, just take the 1-to-1s or the 618s and let it play out. All right, so my expectation for next video is just to tag the 236 or the 382 and start a bear market rally. Get a little bull trap going. But yeah, I'll make sure to update this as we go and be on it all week. All right, guys, that's it for Bitcoin. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.